Former government minister, now socio-political commentator, Dwyer Astaphan, is questioning the lack of transparency regarding the Citizenship By Investment Programme, CBI, from its inception until the current time. He questioned the state of the program in its formative years under the previous PAM-NRP government of the 1980s and early 1990s. The CBI program was created under that administration in 1984, making it one of the oldest in the world.
There were relatively few checks and balances, and those persons who were in positions back then to know how many of our passports were issued, how many diplomatic passports were issued, and so forth, did not, as far as I can recall, share the information with the people of the country. Indeed, this thing was so quiet that I believe that most people did not even know that we had such a thing as CBI. And the decision makers of the day chose not to shed the light. In short, there was no transparency.
Mr. Astaphan also chided the Denzel Douglas and the Timothy Harris administrations for lack of transparency of the CBI program.
Labour succeeded PAM-NRP in 1995. 10 years later, the sugar industry was closed. And in 2006, the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation was established for the purpose of generating funds by the grant of citizenships, so as to create the platform for a new post-sugar economy and society. But instead of setting up a system which fell under the purview of Parliament and the Public Accounts Committee and the Director of Audit, the SIDF was set up under the National Trust Company, which is a fully owned subsidiary of the National Bank, which is 51% owned by the government. And the Minister of Finance, who is more often than not the Prime Minister, is the person assisted by his Attorney General, who speaks on behalf of the major shareholder, that's the government. The setup of the SIDF was essentially to hide it away from the people, cloak it in secrecy, just as had been the case before with PAM-NRP.
The former government minister asked questions of the controversial prison project, which was to be funded through the CBI program, and questioned how it was managed.
Applicants committed themselves to pay the full $175,000. So what measures did the Harris administration put in place to ensure that that money was actually paid? What control of and or access, if any, did the Harris administration have to the hundreds of millions of dollars that would be paid to Galaxy? Why would the Harris administration, the decimated Harris administration, 3 months before an election which he knew he would lose, allow Galaxy to issue 5,500 CBI units? Note, a lot of these applications had already begun, even in 2021. Why no escrow? Why allow the money to go straight from the applicant to Galaxy? Why not have a robust system in place to ensure that the right amount of money was paid and the law fully observed?
Mr. Astaphan suggested that Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew will help to fix some of the issues with the CBI program with an aim of making it more transparent. I'm Andre Huey for SKN at Newsline.